Got audio? You hear me now? Let me know something. Sonya, what's the deal? Brandon, what's the deal? Yeah, I think it's that other mic, man. I don't know. I'm gonna order some more mics, so I don't know why that shit tripping. I think it tripped out like one time before. So we're looking out. These Burberry. I'm like I'm definitely a shades type of dude. I got like a lot of designer shades and shit. You see. Weird painting. Check it out though. Look at it. Look at it real good though. You see it? Hey bro, I ain't even tripping. The weirdos can come in here. You feel me? I'm just trying to get cracking. You feel me? They come in. They say they little weird shit. The numbers gonna add up the same. I'm trying to get somewhere. You feel me? I might entertain the bullshit sometime. Weird pain dog. Face some shades off. Let me see your face. Why you want to see my face for? Let me see. Angie, Jackson and boys. Yeah. For real. Let them run up the watch hours. If they don't, if they don't like what I'm doing, they can exit stage left. See, the thing about me, I'll sit on here when it ain't nobody on here. So you know what I mean. Any progress to me, I'll take it. You know, I kind of already seen from like these streamers and shit, like how they would deal with that shit and have to have the mods block people. Hey, what's up with you? I ain't even hey, I ain't even did the Twitch thing like that. I just been sticking to the YouTube, sticking to Old Faithful. I appreciate you for popping in though. You got 4K yet? Nah, not even close, bro. It's I ain't even got. I think I only got like maybe like 500 subscribers, maybe a little over 500, a little over 500 subscribers. Um, numbers wise, I ain't doing no numbers like that. You know what I mean? That's why I need to be on here more often. I'm trying to get there. I'm trying to build something so I can bring my friends in so they can, you know what I mean, have a lane to jump into when they get here. What is that? I don't understand that one right there. That look like that might be like, I don't know, is that German or something? I don't know what that is. Can anybody tell me what that is right there? What you doing? I just got here. What's the deal? What's the deal? She crazy. What up with it? You broke. Yeah, you right. I'm very broke. Can I get a donation? Since I'm so broke, I'll be broke. I appreciate it, man, and I appreciate you returning back. You feel me? Fucking with me for sure, man. I like the picture on the wall. Yeah, that picture crazy, huh? When you really look at it, it trip you out. Banana chasing a strawberry in a pear. We can kind of like create that to be whatever metaphor we want it to be. Looking at it, Stop talking. Log out, fool. Angie Jackson and boys. Why does black people say bad words? Yeah, banana. For real, for real. When women come over here, I tell them they the strawberry and the pear, and I'm the banana. I'm definitely gonna do the boxing content, man, because last time when we was chopping it up about the boxing, last time we was chopping it up about the boxing, I was getting a lot of feedback, and I also enjoyed it. I like talking boxing, so I'm gonna definitely do the boxing. Maybe I'll do a planned live, like I'll schedule a live. So then whoever subscribed that wanna have that conversation with me, they can log in and we can just kind of get boxing fans on here and just talk about it. Shit, I'll even add people to the live. You know what I mean? If they want to talk boxing or sport or any sports for that matter. Why you skip my question? I might have missed it. What was the question? Nobody likes strawberries. They alright sometimes. You might be right. I ain't a big fan of strawberries myself. Women like them with like white chocolate on them and shit like that. Aaron Rodgers. What about Aaron Rodgers? He ain't. I don't have no off days. I don't have no off days. I'm doing something every day. When you trying to get somewhere, you're gonna put your hands on many different things, and you got to be a man to wear many different hats. So I mean, no days off. Are you referring to the black helmets? I've seen them in a mock game that I've seen some clips of a mock game, and I've seen them having the black helmets. I'm waiting to see if these are gonna really be in game helmets, or are you talking about how the team is looking? Hey man, let them ask them weird ass questions. If the question gets skipped, then just let you know who asking some weird shit. Shout out though. Shout out to them. What's your serious question? Can a white person say the N word? Can a white person say the N word? I mean, can a white person say the N word? I guess it's a free country. You can say what you want to say, just depending on who you in front of. That's the way I see it. I have, I know people who have no problem with other races using the N word. Me myself, I don't allow it. You feel me? But to each his own. Oh yeah, no, no, no. As far as that, yeah, I thought you was talking about like the helmets and shit. Nah, as far as that, Pete Carroll, I like the draft picks we got. Um, Geno Smith, I ain't gonna lie, with Geno Smith, I just got to see how he look when the season starts. We've gotten quarterbacks in the past, even before the Derek Carr situation. We've gotten quarterbacks that we thought we could work with. Uh, it how can I say this? I've been let down so much that I like to wait till the season start to see what we're gonna look like. That's where I'm at with it. Yeah, the changes. I'm happy about the changes because I felt like we needed a. We need a lot of adjustments, and most of the adjustments we made, I feel like I'm happy with them. But still, I gotta wait till the season start. Uh, that's how we do that. That's how we do that, buddy. Filling up the comments with bullshit. I got people asking real questions. Let's get back to it. Uh, yeah, Brock Bowers, definitely. Nah, we had to. I feel like Devontae Adams was stinking up the locker room, man, and complaining shit. And he wasn't even producing enough to be complaining the way he does. You the veteran. You supposed to be over there motivating, nigga throwing tantrums on the sideline and all that. You know, I think he was banking on coming over there and playing with Derek Carr. And when they got rid of Derek Carr, you know what I mean. When they got rid of Derek Carr, it just put a damper on his parade. Hold on, y'all. Give me a second. There right now. Um, right now, and it ain't just because of the Super Bowl, but the Eagles. I like Jalen Hurts, man. I like Jalen Hurts. I've been rooting for him since the beginning. So yeah, I like the Eagles, man. Packers and the Giants. I like that quarterback the Packers got too. What's his name? Love. I definitely like him too. I tend to like players more than teams because I'm like one of them people who's Raiders or nothing. But I like certain players. Yeah, Philadelphia, Jalen Hurts. I like Love over there in Green Bay. I ain't too fond of the Giants. Man, what's crazy about the Vikings is y'all tend to still keep being in the mix and still making the playoffs though. Y'all might not y'all might not get to the big dance, but the Vikings always tend to be in the mix. They always been a competitor over there. Let's mix it up a bit though. Let's get on some boxing though. What fights coming up this weekend? Can anybody tell me about any fights coming up this weekend? Or any up and coming fights that catch your eye, that got you interested? I know everybody waiting on the big fight with Canelo and Crawford. But besides that, what fights coming up? I like the myself. I like the fight they just made. That's coming up, I believe, October, November, with David Benavidez and Anthony Yardy. I like that. I like that matchup, even though I got Benavidez winning, but I like that matchup. I think Benavidez is overrated. Um, who do you think he fought though? Who do you think he fought where he looked overrated? Because when you say he look, when you think, when you say he think, you think he's overrated, it have to be something that you've seen to make you feel like he overrated. And man, like I even, because I'm not a fan of his fighting style, so I even tried to tell myself that, like, what does he do that's so good that people like him so much? And I couldn't find nothing that he did so good, but I also couldn't find a fight where not one motherfucker made him look human. I like the what's his name, David Morrell. I think David Morrell found some success when they was fighting him. I think he had some moments where he gave Benavidez a hard time, but like still overall, Benavidez just kind of looked flawless. I think now I think if he go up, I think him fighting somebody like Bivol, Better Beef. I think he get totally outclassed, like one sided ass whooping. But I think anybody at 168 though, he walked on easy work. I honestly rather seen Canelo fighting Benavidez, and mm, I honestly rather seen Canelo fighting Benavidez in September instead of Terence Crawford. I felt like as a as a fan of the sport, I'm not into fantasy fights. I don't care to see a 147 pounder who campaigned one fight at 154, skipping 160, then moving up to 68 to fight Canelo at 68, which he's been the reigning undisputed champion for how many years? Not saying that Terence Crawford can't get the job done, but I think if Canelo beats him, nobody will be surprised. And if Crawford wins, he shocks the world. So this goes back to what I was saying about, this is why I wanted to see Canelo fighting Benavidez in in September, a fight that made more sense. um, and we should have been getting Terence Crawford and Jerron Boots Ennis at 154. That's what we should have been getting. Instead, they both running from the man that's in front of them. People they should be fighting to fight each other, because if Crawford loses, it'll be the biggest payday of his life. Um, and he'll, have it on his resume that he got to go out there and get with Canelo. Um, with Canelo, if he beat him, I think the casual fans will praise him for beating Terence Crawford. But I think the true boxing fans look at him like, well, you did what you were supposed to do. Yeah, but at that weight class, like, okay, Morrell, Plant, Andre. I mean, people talked about Boo Boo Andre like he was the truth, like he was gonna clean up the division. So think I think we only can call him mediocre because uh Benavidez beat him now. But before he beat him, most boxing critics thought that was a good layout. Boots is what I wanted. Yeah, Crawford and Boots is what I wanted too. But I think for Crawford, the Boots fight is high risk, no reward. Official prediction on the Canelo versus Crawford fight. Uh, my official prediction is shit, man. My predictions change so much by the day because I got a lot to think about with this fight. But I'm gonna say that my official prediction for that fight is I'm gonna go Bud Crawford stopping him in the late rounds. I got Bud stopping him in the late rounds. I think if his weight transfer, if he can carry the weight going up to 68, if he can carry the weight well, just skill wise, looking at Crawford's skill set, and we see everybody who was actual boxers, not brawlers, they gave Canelo problems. Floyd, a masterclass boxer, he made easy work of Canelo. You go back and look at Danny Jacobs and Canelo, even though Canelo won the fight, Danny Jacobs, a pure boxer, he gave Canelo problems. Caleb Plant, pure boxer, gave Canelo problems. I think Terence Crawford got the willpower and the skill set to go in there and fight Canelo smart and beat him. Um, well, see, I think, I think Crawford, his walk around weight is like 180 or some shit like that. His walk around weight is like 180. I believe it's like 180 if I'm not mistaken. Um, I don't think 68 is gonna bother him. Now, will he be as comfortable at 68 as Canelo? Hell no. Canelo been campaigning there for years. But I don't think Crawford gonna have a problem adjusting. Crawford spars heavyweights. So I just think Crawford is those one of those once in a generation fighters where I don't think it's too much that he can't do. I think it's just timing with him. Timing. I agree. And that's the thing that I think about too when I get asked, my opinions on that fight. I feel like if he can box smart and stay away from Canelo, he can beat Canelo. But I think, if he try to do that shit, giving up too much, not controlling the fight with his jab, he got to control the distance with the jab to keep Canelo off of him. But I just, when Canelo gets you to bounce off that rope, where you bounce off the rope and you come back to him, and then he body shot, then he follow up with that hook, and then throw another body shot. I think if he get Crawford in a position like that, yeah, might stop Crawford. That's why it's like the opinion is gonna be up and down because there's just so many things that Crawford can do well, and I think it's not a lot of things that Canelo do well, but the things that he do well, he does them very well. And them body shots is gonna be vicious. The body shots is gonna be vicious when if he catches Crawford in a clinch and just get to throwing them body shots, it's gonna cause problems because you could be a natural 68 pounder and he can break you down with them body shots. Um, I think when he fought Bivol at the higher weight class, I think if he could have got Bivol to stay still somewhere and he could have threw them body shots, he could have hurt Bivol with that shit. But I don't think Crawford is just gonna stand in front of him. I think Crawford gonna move around. Yeah, yeah, no, you absolutely right. It definitely can go so many ways. That's why, even though this is not the fight I wanted, like I said, I prefer Canelo and Benavidez and Crawford and Boots, but I'll take it because it's gonna be a fight of the ages. It's gonna be one of them classics because it can just be one of them fights that shock the world. It could for sure shock the world because if Crawford can pull this off, he gonna shock the world. If Canelo beat him, the casuals, the casuals appraise him for it because it's still Crawford. Um, the boxing fans will be like, he was supposed to. Oh, we will, we will, we will. I think they're gonna announce a fight with Earl Spence soon too. He been back in the gym. He training with Blu-ray again. So his old strength and conditioning coach when he was steamrolling shit. Blu-ray out of Houston, Dallas. I mean, What do you think of the what if they make that fight with Shakur Stevenson and what's his name? Conor Ben? Is that his name? Conor Ben? What if they make that fight with Shakur Stevenson and Conor Ben? I would like to see that. Yeah. Do you think do you think his defense is better than Mayweather's? Because if we compare it like so the age Shakur is, if we compare them to Mayweather, we would be comparing him to Pretty Boy, right? And is it safe to say that Shakur right now has more a better defense than Pretty Boy Floyd did? Shakur is like Pretty Boy Floyd. Well, I'll say this. I think that last fight he looked like Pretty Boy Floyd, but previous to that, he was trying to fight the Money Mayweather fight, and this is why he was putting fans to sleep. So if he can give us more exchange without getting hurt, then yeah, I think we are looking at Pretty Boy Floyd all over again. But if he goes back to all this defense trying to fight like Money Mayweather, he putting the fans to sleep with that shit. But yeah, that last fight, hell yeah, he did. He got hurt. He definitely got hurt. Remember his daughter. Remember his daughter even saying it. He almost knocked you out. He definitely got hurt. Andre Ward seen it. He said the same thing. He was hurt. Shakur tried to he tried to shrug it off at first and try to act like he wasn't hurt. But then he went and did an interview and he just kept it real and he was like he did get wobbled a little bit. We all seen that shit. He for sure got wobbled. Nah, he might have not been hurt like stoppage hurt, but he went baby deer legs for a minute. That's for sure. Them legs was wobbled. You could see it in the legs that he definitely got stunned a little bit. Definitely, definitely. So sometime when that happened, the fighter, the in the mind, they don't think they're hurt. They don't think they're hurt, but the legs, if the legs is gone, the legs is gone. Thoughts on heavyweight division? I actually think the heavyweight division is shit right now, man, because after the trilogy with Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, you kind of had Usyk kind of just came in and ran through everything, and I wasn't interested in it like that. Once that started happening, because I feel like they giving Usyk too much praise for coming to clean up a beat up division already. He should have moved up and fought all these dudes while everybody was at their peak, while the heavyweight division was rocking good for a few years. He just basically came in and cleaned up and cleaned up a bunch of washed up fighters, basically. You know what I mean? All these guys that lost already. He should have came when all these dudes was undefeated. When all these dudes was undefeated. You know what I mean? He should have came when before AJ lost to Ruiz. You know what? Wilder is not a boxer, but I did like him because I think we got to see excitement in the heavyweight division again because of him. Of course, he lacked boxing skill. He was a late starter, but I think the people we start watching again because Wilder was knocking people out. We got to see knockouts again in the heavyweight division. He was knocking people out. Then they went and dug Tyson Fury up out the grave to create a arch enemy for him. Somebody had to be a hero. Somebody had to be a villain. Yeah, but you know what makes for great heavyweight boxing when you have when you have an American champion, and then you have like a UK champion, and you got one over there like how you had Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury he was a lineal champion. You got AJ over there. He was the active champion. Then you had Wilder here in the States, who was the WBC heavyweight champion. And it just made for good boxing. You got all these guys that never lost before, and they all kicking ass. And eventually they all had to fight each other. Well, AJ didn't get to mix it up with Wilder, unfortunately. I would still like to see that fight, by the way. But yeah, it made a good time. Like the heavyweight division was back, but I feel like my opinion is it all came back. We started paying attention to the heavyweight division again because of the Anthony Joshua fights, because of the Wilder knockouts, because of Tyson Fury with his singing and his antics. Like they brought heavyweight boxing back. Now we back like to the Klitschko era. We back to that shit again with Usyk. We back to that shit again. Yeah, there's boxing skill there, but it's boring. It's boring. It's nothing. They're not exciting. They're not exciting. You know, you know who Anthony Joshua reminds me of? Frank Bruno. He reminds me of Frank Bruno. His build, the way he fight, horrible head movement, all muscle. Uh, looks like he's just lifting weights and doing no cardio. I hated that about Joshua because I hated that about Frank Bruno. But gotta give him credit. He was a champion, three belt holder, held it for a while, and got beat by Ruiz. Wow. But yeah, I seen the leaks in his fight game early. I just felt like Eddie Hearn and them they were moving him well to keep the fans intrigued by him. Facts, facts. He's a machine. Joshua's a machine, man. He can only do what he's taught in the gym. He don't have that dog in him. He has a horrible chin, horrible chin. But like I said, he was a show. They moved him well. I feel like the same thing Eddie Hearn did. Oh yeah, definitely. But I felt like the same thing Eddie Hearn did with Anthony Joshua is what Oscar De La Hoya was attempting to do with Ryan Garcia. They weren't looking for the biggest fights to make. I just don't think they were. They weren't looking for the risky fights to make because they definitely didn't want to fight somebody like Joshua, Wilder, who lacked boxing ability, but they knew at any moment within 12 rounds he can just knock AJ clean out. This this is the same thing Oscar De La Hoya was trying to do with Ryan Garcia. They was trying to keep him away from the Tank Davises. They was trying to keep him away from all these guys because he's the he's a people's champ, you could say. So when you got these kind of fighters, you can just keep moving them around, and have them fight these fights because they already got a crazy fan base, and they don't have to actually fight nobody. It's the shock value of that they're just fighting. And Eddie Hearn was doing that with Joshua until Joshua got beat by Ruiz trying to find a little fat guy from California, a little fat Mexican guy from California, and thought he couldn't fight, and he went in there and whooped Joshua's ass. I love that about Ryan Garcia too. He ain't ducking no smoke. You know, um, when they make comparisons to him and Adrian Broner, he definitely don't have the accomplishments that Adrian Broner has. But Adrian Broner didn't dodge no fights. He never ducked no smoke. Adrian Broner would still be an active boxer if he let Al Heyman and move him the way they wanted to move him. Adrian Broner lost to the people he lost to because he didn't dodge no smoke. And I respect that about Adrian Broner just as well as I respect that about Ryan Garcia. That's a true boxer, somebody that ain't running from nothing. Even if it mean them they if it means their career, they ain't dodging no smoke. Ruiz definitely has fast hands, but he lacks discipline though. I think he's one of them guys that should still be in the mix now, but he lacks discipline for sure. For sure he did. I just don't like how he quit. I've seen body shot after body shot, man. I know what it look like when somebody is hurt from a body shot, and it ain't nobody on this planet that can tell me that that body shot that he took from Tank stopped him. It didn't stop him. He quit. He didn't have a dog in a fight, so he quit. Stevenson versus Haney. Who would you take, man? That's a tough one. I'm taking Stevenson though. Um, Before I probably would have took Haney. Haney just super impressed me when he put that ass whooping on Regis Prograde, and he super impressed me by going over there, whooping Cambosos twice, becoming undisputed, and went down under for them fights. I can't give Haney enough credit for what he's done already. Um, he is the more accomplished fighter out of all them guys. When it come to Tank, Shakur, you name them. Devin Haney is the most accomplished one out of all of them. Resume wise, he's the most accomplished. Um, Stevenson Haney. If I had to go one of them right now, just based off of their last performances, I'm for sure going Shakur Stevenson. But I got to see how Haney gonna look this next fight. He going in there with a monster. So if he can show me that he's anything of himself, then I might can change my mind. But right now, I got Shakur. That's something right now. I'm going to have to beat him, especially by decision. Definitely. Well, you Shakur is one of them guys. You either got to stop him or you got to just give him a one-sided ass whooping for 12 rounds. Because if it go to the cards, he know how the point system work. He's an Olympian. Anytime you fighting Olympians, they know how the point system work. So they know how to beat you on points. They sometimes they can give the fans the most boringest fights, but they know how to win on points. That's the and you see that in Olympians, and you don't see that in fighters who didn't go to the Olympics. You know what I mean? When you watch Tank, he don't play the point system. He don't play the point system. When you go back and watch Adrian Broner in his prime, he didn't play the point system. These dudes come off the street, they just coming in there to beat you. But all the kids who went to the Olympics, they know how to use the point system, so they can go 12 rounds with you and beat you. A lot of times when casuals ask me questions, and it'll be regarding like the fight with Devin Haney and Lomachenko, and they like, damn, that was a robbery. Lomachenko won. I'm like, no, he didn't. You all gotta understand how the point system works. And when they in a clinch, all that little shit, all them little baby body shots, uh, all the short jabs that look like nothing before going in the clinch. Those are Olympian moves, and they know how to beat you on points. Well, so he says 5 years because he just don't want to do it anymore. Tank ain't mentally stable. Tank ain't mentally stable, man. He ain't there. Fame ain't for everybody. I think if Tank can get out the limelight, which you can't, he's already a star. But man, if he didn't have to deal with fame, I think he I think he'd be the biggest dog out there, man. But the cameras, his life being in the spotlight, his relationships being in the spotlight, you know what I mean? And I hate that he's stepping away from the sport. He brings so much excitement. Yeah, that's how I felt. But if you ask a casual that people who don't know boxing, people who ain't never been in the gym training, people who've never watched the Olympics, uh, people who just not knowledgeable of how the judges score these fights, they they thought Loma clearly won. I'm like how you said. I was watching and waiting. I was like, shit, this shit can go either way. I wouldn't have been mad if they gave it to Loma, and I definitely wasn't mad if they gave it to Hank. I understood that in that fight, Loma had the big moments, the big shots. But I seen what Devin Haney was doing. They had a game plan. They came to win off of points, and that's what they did. Because you got to ask yourself, if you in camp, right, and you training for somebody like Loma, high volume punching, go for the big moments. What do? You're not going to be able to do that better than he can. He's gonna beat you to it every time. You try to exchange with him, he gonna beat you to it every time. That's Loma's fight. So what do? You go in there and play the point system. You beat him on points, more punch output. He might have the bigger moments, but you stacking up. You stacking up on jabs. You stacking up on body shots. Right, right, right. Yeah. To me, it was a good fight, good decision. Um, what I will say about that fight is I think they should have rematched. It was worth a rematch. But I knew Bill Haney wasn't going for that. It was too close, and they ain't want that smoke again. That's similar to when Tank fought Pitbull. They ain't want to do that again. That was too much. Um, yeah, Bill Haney do a lot. You know what you think about boxing dads? Seem like they catch a lot of hell from the fans for the way they push their sons. Because you have people like Bill Haney, uh, Tiafimo's dad. Tiafimo dad. Sometimes the right things don't come out his mouth. I don't think he's like a racist, but I think he just come from a community where certain things come out of his mouth that the world is not ready for. That might be okay amongst the community he come from. And man, boxing fans don't like these people. That'd be crazy. That'd be crazy. I think Bill talks shit better than him though. Bill reminds me of Don King. He got a Don King swagger about himself. But I'm gonna tell you who Tiafimo dad reminds me of. He reminded me of Angel Garcia. What you think about that? Do you think Tiafimo's dad is similar to Angel Garcia? That's who he reminds me of. Oh yeah, but do you believe that they do that already? Look, so I'm very good friends with uh some of the Watson family, Sam Watson family, and these fighters, man, they know how to sell the sport. So a lot of this shit is smoke and mirrors, man. A lot of these people that people think have these beefs with each other really be cool. They really been knowing, a lot of them been knowing each other since the Olympics. I know, like with Sean Porter, his dad Kenny Porter, a lot of the fighters they were so called beefing with. He used to be their coach in the Olympics. You know what I mean? So, uh, the Terence Crawford and Earl Spence thing, they actually cool in real life. Um, Tank, Shakur, Ryan, Devin, all them dudes come up in the doghouse in Vegas. You know what I mean? Them dudes is actually cool. Rolly, I've seen footage of Rolly and Tank chilling before. You know what I mean? So we do have to understand the nature of the sport. It's a gladiator sport. So for the fans' sake, they do have this. Some of this shit is WWE. They gotta sell it to the people, right? You gotta sell the fight. But in real life, man, a lot of these dudes been knowing each other since before the age of 10 years old. They've been in these gyms. Their dad's been having them in these gyms since some of them was 5 and 6 years old, and they kind of was raised with each other. So a lot of these dudes be cool as hell, man, behind the scenes. Tank the only one that's just going through some mental shit that's losing that because from my understanding, him and Lamont Roach is good friends too, but I say Tank losing his marbles. Definitely, Bill selling tickets, but also too, I believe this on the fight side of it. Forget the promotion side of it. On the fight side of it, I also believe too. Devin Haney was a better fighter when he was being trained by Floyd Senior. Bill Haney does not have enough to offer him in the ring as a coach, as a trainer. He doesn't have enough to offer Devin Haney. So Devin Haney is an amazing fighter, but he's better when he has some seasoned coaching, right? Same thing with Tiafimo. I feel like Tiafimo lost to Cambosis because of the shit that him and his dad was going through, and I felt like you should have removed your dad from the camp if y'all was having some father son issues because it's going to affect the training. So you should have removed dad from the camp at least just for that fight, and you could have brought some seasoned vets in there, some seasoned trainers in there, so your head could have been in the game. Oh yeah, man. You know, some people see it as a rivalry, but that was Tank giving his one of his friends from the DMV an opportunity at a payday. He just fed one of his friends. You know what I mean? So that's all that was. Hey man, it's easy to get caught up in the moment though. You know, they be so in character, man. They probably start believing in that shit. But at the end of the day, man, these dudes got money. They've been knowing each other for so long. Uh, it be, I think it be guilt, man. Like, well, they don't want to feel bad. I don't think none of these kids, these guys, I don't want to call them kids, want to look up and tell their dad, like, for this fight, I think I need to go another route. And they don't have to completely move dad from the corner, right? You bring help in. You bring help in. Because Bill can't, I don't think Bill can maintain Devin Haney. Bill didn't, when they was fighting Ryan Garcia, Bill didn't have a plan. He didn't have a plan. They thought Devin was going to come out there and dominate Ryan Garcia. And when he was having problems, even though Ryan was off the juice, they did not have a plan for Devin Haney. A seasoned coach, they prepare for if you're losing the fight. They prepare to make adjustments. Like with Tank, with Terence Crawford. When Tank is in trouble, when the fight ain't looking his way, his he got a great coaching team, seasoned coaches, man, that they tell him the adjustments he need to make to turn that fight around. Crawford with Bomac. Bomac is a seasoned coach. He ain't his dad. He's a seasoned coach. So I remember when Sean Porter was beating Crawford, he went to the corner and they told him he was losing. They made the adjustments and he came out and stopped Sean Porter. That's great coaching. That's great coaching. When you got your dad in your corner, see the only dad that I'll say that we didn't need to see help over there or was Kenny Porter. And that's because Kenny Porter was a trainer in the Olympics. So not only did he coach his son in the Olympics, he coached a lot of these guys in the Olympics. So and he always had a stable of boxers. He was an actual coach. He wasn't just there because his son was a boxer. Definitely, definitely. And like I say, if Floyd Senior health was together and he had Floyd Senior in his corner, even though Ryan was off the juice, they would have made that adjustment. They definitely would have made that adjustment. Bill didn't know what to do. He didn't know what to do in that situation because he never seen his son in that situation. And this ain't no sparring shit where you can just jump in the ring and take a break real quick. But you know, Ryan being off the juice helped. Definitely, definitely. Man, Roger was one of the greatest, man. Roger was one of the greatest. And he was a good boxer too. Roger definitely. One of my favorite quotes, and you know what I'm gonna say already. One of my favorite quotes in boxing, period. Roger Mayweather. Most people don't know shit about boxing. Yeah, man. The great I'm gonna put that as the thumbnail for this live when I get off. I'm gonna put Roger Mayweather. Floyd isn't Floyd without him. No, definitely. But people gotta understand it. Floyd comes from boxing, a boxing family. You know what I mean, Floyd Senior, Roger Mayweather, Jeff Mayweather. Like he comes from boxing. So when you get to looking at the lineage of the lineage of what he come from, he come from fighters. He come from fighters. It was destined to be a fighter. I wouldn't be surprised if Floyd grandson, Yaya, the kid, Yaya, his daughter Yaya, the kid that she had with NBA YoungBoy, KJ. I wouldn't be surprised that KJ ends up being a fighter one day. I wouldn't be surprised. Them dudes breathe boxing, man. They shit it and piss it, man. Them dudes they are boxing. My top five. Uh, I'm gonna start at number one. My number one is Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather Jr. is TBE, the best ever. Flawless. Um, he does have questionable moments in boxing, but shit, what great fighter doesn't? Floyd at number one. Um, number two, number two for me, I have to go with the all time great Muhammad Ali. Um, number three, Sugar Ray Leonard. Sugar Ray Leonard. Number two would be Mike Tyson. I mean, oh my God. Number four would be Mike Tyson, and damn, this be a toss up every fucking time. I'm gonna go Crawford. I'm gonna go Crawford with number five. I'm gonna go Crawford with number five. Man, he's done some things that I gotta respect. I can't ignore greatness right in front of my face. Sometimes we don't recognize what these fighters done until they've retired, and we don't get to see them no more. But undisputed at 40, undisputed at 47. Um, because I'm just because the things I'm naming off that he's done already, and he's still active. You know what I mean? Like I say, undisputed at 40, undisputed at 47, could possibly be undisputed at 168 pounds next month. If I've never seen nobody chase greatness, I'm seeing it now. He's doing things right now that Floyd, Pacquiao, none of these guys ever did. If he wins this fight next, if I'm gonna tell you like this, if he win this fight next month, my list will change. He'll definitely come down from number five to my number one all time fighter. Undisputed at 40, 47, and 68. Shit is unheard of, man. It's unheard of. It's Crawford beat Prime Floyd. When when you say Prime Floyd, Floyd had two primes. He had a prime when he was Pretty Boy, and he had a prime as Money Mayweather. Floyd, Muhammad, Sugar Ray, Tyson, Crawford. Yeah, definitely. But no, it depends. Do I? So if we go Pretty Boy at what? What was what? 130. So we go Pretty Boy at like 130, 135 versus Crawford at 130, 135. The best Floyd you ever seen versus the best Crawford you ever seen. Shit. I'm gonna go Floyd, man. I gotta go Floyd because I felt like Floyd fought better fighters. He fought better fighters, man. That resume can't compare. You can't compare the resumes. If we was to roll out box rec right now and compare uh Floyd last 10 fights, his last 10 official fights to Crawford's last 10 official fights. Man, Floyd ain't got nobody on there like Madrimal. Floyd fought the guys, man. He didn't go digging in the bucket of European fighters we never heard of. And yeah, the defense is crazy. Uh Crawford does take too much punishment, and Floyd would have just been on that old school make you miss, make you pay type shit. So yeah, I would pick Floyd over him, but who I think will win out of the two doesn't determine who I think will be a all where they go as far as all time greats. Because being an all time great, I have to judge you by your accolades, right? Not by whether you would have beat Floyd or not. And if I got to judge by the accolades, like I say, 40, 47 next month. If he become undisputed at 68, that'll make Terence Crawford the greatest fighter of all time. That'll make him the greatest fighter of all time. You know, people got Muhammad Ali is the greatest heavyweight of all time. But if you ask me if Ali would have fought Tyson in his prime, I think Tyson would have stopped Ali. But that doesn't mean that Tyson is on the all time great list. He shouldn't come before Ali because his resume his resume not like Muhammad Ali's. Floyd resume is crazy. You can't take that away from him. But like I say, undisputed in 3 different weight classes, unheard of. Unheard of. Floyd resume is ridiculous. You can run his resume all the way back from Pretty Boy on up, and you ain't gonna find a bum. You ain't gonna find no tomato cans. Prime Roy Jones is probably my number one. Listen, Prime Roy Jones may have been the best fighter we ever seen. Not the best boxer, but the best fighter we ever seen. The only thing with Prime Roy is he couldn't maintain it. When he moved up in weight and then came back down and lost to Antonio Tarver, I think his career just kind of went downhill after that. I think that was a bad move on his part because he was supposed to beat Antonio Tarver. But you know, because he didn't have the accolades of a Floyd or a Terence Crawford, it's hard for me to put him next to them. But if I go by the eye test of what I saw, yeah, Roy by far is probably the best fight I ever seen in my life. Poetry in motion. I used to feel like that about Earl before the car accident. Watching Earl fight, man, I just felt like damn, like he reminded me of a throwback fighter. Earl before the accident, he just reminded me of a throwback fighter. He reminded me of watching ESPN classics. Yeah, man. Yeah, and I hate that the credit that Tarver take for which he should. He won. You know, Roy signed the contract. He won, but it's one of them things that if Roy never moved up in weight, I don't think Tarver would have beat Roy. Like I don't think he would have beat him. I don't think he would have beat him. He moved up in weight and came back down to fight Tarver. That was the worst thing he could have did. But man, look, pre-accident Earl was Crawford wouldn't have beat him. Crawford wouldn't have beat him. I don't think Crawford would have beat that Earl. I don't think he would have beat him. Hell no. What about this one though? The fight that a lot of people don't know could have happened but never happened. Terence Crawford at 140 and Adrian Broner, prime Adrian Broner at 140. What about that one? You think so? But do you think Crawford at 140? Do you think Crawford at 140 look like the same Crawford we seeing today? Though, let's be real. because let's not forget about the Gamboa fight. Let's not forget about put it like this. Do you think Paulie? Because when we talk about one, we cannot think of today's Crawford. We got to think about Crawford at 140. Crawford at 140 ain't the same as Crawford today. Now, I think somebody like Paulie Maldonado would have gave Crawford problems. Then though, I feel like he's just transformed into something great now. But then I think he was just still perfecting the craft, man, figuring it out, and just became undisputed at 140. You know what I mean? But yeah, Crawford is a great fighter, man. Definitely one of the best I ever seen. I was like the rest of America. I was heartbroken when he beat Earl. I couldn't believe that shit, man. I I just couldn't believe that shit happened. Yeah, Crawford is a different kind of monster right now. He woke some other shit up when he fought Earl. He woke some other shit up. He been on a wrecking ball ever since. And I love Adrian Broner, man. I love Adrian Broner, man. Adrian Broner is who he is. Uh, boxing will forever, boxing will forever give Adrian Broner his flowers, even if the casual fans don't, because Adrian Broner was the man. He was the man, and he was whooping everything. Um, he was the youngest. Was it the youngest three division world champion or the youngest four? I think it was youngest four division world champion. And Devin Haney, that record didn't get broken until Devin Haney came, but he definitely shook up the world. He definitely shook up the world. He shook up more than the world, man. He broke hearts in America when he beat Earl. Earl was the champion. Earl was the man. Earl had the 147 division popping. He picked up the torch after Keith Thurman put it down. If you know, you know. No, for real, man. I couldn't even enjoy my night after that shit, man. I was at a fight party watching it, and you know, mid fight, I was just lost for words. Everybody there, I had been talking all this shit. Everybody there was looking at me. What's up with your boy? What's up with your boy? I'm just like, fuck. I got people calling me that was at the fight, and I can't believe this shit. It was an upset, man. That Terence Crawford, he beat our champion. It was a fucking upset, but he gained a fan in me though also because I respect the sport, man. I love the sport, so yeah, that was a heartbreaker. Watching Earl get his ass whooped like that was a heartbreaker. Real, man. For real. You know, everybody not gonna feel like that, but to all of us who watched his journey, seeing seeing Earl in the early days fighting on remember Showbox? Him and the Charlos was fighting on Showbox and shit. I watched them rise from them Thursday night fights on Showbox up into headlining events, small events and shit, to becoming pay-per-view stars, man. And yeah, when you watch that journey, you be feeling you get an attachment to the shit basically. You know what I mean? It's like being a Kobe fan or a Jordan fan or a Tom Brady fan or something. You get attached to what they doing. And man, seeing my boy get beat like that, man, he looked like Martin when Martin fought Tommy Hearns, man. It definitely was, bro. It definitely was. But I say, Bud made me a fan that night. I ain't gonna lie. I still wanted him to fight Charlo though at 54 because I think Charlo could beat him. But that don't it wouldn't take away from Bud's greatness. It just somebody got your motherfucking number. Yeah, man. But man, it's been real, man. I appreciate you, man, for staying on, keeping it cracking, man. Uh, honestly, I don't like it. I definitely didn't like it in the beginning. Um, but I do feel like people have always gotten the gloves to settle their differences though. So I think the YouTubers are doing it. They just because they have the platforms, they can make events out of it. And then even with Jake Paul, like I don't like watching his fights. I'm definitely not a fan of that shit, especially with the stipulations in the contract. It's like it make it kind of staged in a sense. But I do respect that Jake Paul do his events and then he have actual fighters on the undercards. Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano got their biggest paydays fighting on the Jake Paul undercard. You know what I mean? And there's been other fighters, who got their biggest payday on his undercard. So any fighter that can capitalize off what the YouTubers are doing and kind of mix it up, I ain't against it, man. I don't entertain the Jake Paul fights though, man. I don't really watch that shit. I don't watch it until he start competing with some actual boxers. They say he's ranked now. I don't know. They say he's ranked right now after beating Cesar Chavez Jr. Oh no, definitely, and that's definitely yeah. No, I agree with you. Anybody that'll lace up and take that ring walk, you gotta respect them. But is it is it authentic though when you got stipulations in the contract that kind of prevent that kind of handicaps the other fighter in a sense? And see, that's the things that's going on with these Jake Paul fights. I want to see him. Um, I want to see him fight an actual boxer. It doesn't have to be a big name boxer. I just want to see him fight somebody in a weight class, where it's not a mixed matching weight. He's coming in there super bigger than somebody. It got to be hydration clause. It got to be hydration clauses. It got to be all the real shit of a fight, man. This dude, he wants to fight people, and there's no hydration clauses where he's blowing up over 20 pounds after you know what I mean? It need to be okay. If you're gonna go in there, you're gonna campaign at what? You gonna campaign at light heavyweight? All right, go in there and campaign at light heavyweight or cruiser, wherever he fight at, and then put like a 10-pound hydration clause on the contract, something like that, where you have to fight in your actual weight class. You know what I mean? No funny business stipulations. Y'all come in there, y'all you do VADA testing, make sure you ain't on the juice. That's that's what kind of fight I want to see Jake Paul in, and then I'll be able to say he made a fan out of me, even if he lose. But as long as it's these stipulations in the contract, yeah, he lacing up and taking that walk. It looked good, but is the fight right? Yeah, no, definitely. When he do that, then I'll be like, okay. Even if he lose, even if he get knocked out cold, I'll be like, you know what? He official. He official. He laced up. He took that walk. He got in there. No funny stipulations, and he left it all in the ring. I'll respect that. But as long as we getting the spectacle, the circus show, I don't really care for it. Oh yeah, man. I was supposed to log off at 1 anyway, man, but I'll be back on tomorrow night at midnight. So if you up, man, log in with me. Y'all be easy. Shout out to all who logged in. I'll be back on tomorrow night at midnight. Y'all be easy.